Hello, I'm Marcus Vida, and this is Team HWP's Brown Gate Mentor Review video for the MIT BWSI Create project. So the backstory of this project is I met a kid named Levi, who is 16 and has cerebral palsy. He's a big fan of video games and car racing, but he's unable to participate in some car racing video games due to his cerebral palsy. One of them that he really wants to try is the Forza Horizon 5 games, and so it's the most popular car racing game for Xboxes currently available, and it's generally played on an Xbox controller, as can be seen here. But due to his cerebral palsy, he has a tough time using the joysticks and also pressing the gas simultaneously. So the goal of this project is to create an Xbox controller add-on which makes it possible for him to play with the Forza car game with his limited hand function. It must be non-destructive to the controller, since controllers can get relatively expensive, and it must make all the buttons easily accessible for him with his limited hand function. So some nice to haves with this project. Well, first of all, there's the goal of making the controller easily removable from the add-on. This is especially important when it comes to charging the controller. Second of all, there's ideally a low cost. This is important because it makes it possible to make it less of an investment when trying a new version. And then a modular design or like customizable parts would also be nice to have because it gives the option for Levi to try out other games, and it also makes it possible for other people to try out the controller if they want to use it. So there do exist some current solutions for this problem. One of them is the Xbox Adaptive Controller, which is officially sold by Xbox, but it can get really expensive, especially if accessories are bought along with it. And another problem is that it isn't really adapted to Forza. So these accessories can be really useful, but they're really not that straight to the point as the mechanism I'll be showing shortly. Another thing that the Levi and his parents tried is that they purchased a steering wheel, which can be seen on the right, but that wasn't able to help either. This project currently has two versions, and this one is the first one. What it does is that it's completely 3D printed except for a few screws, and what it does is that it makes the rear gas and brake pedals, brings them up, and it also makes the buttons and the D-pad joystick based, as can be seen in green below. So this first version was tested with Levi, and it was designed for people with two functional hands that are a bit less coordinated. But the problem was, it turned out that Levi was only able to properly use one of his hands at a time. So this prompted the creation of a second version. This version was especially designed for Levi. What it does is that it connects the back gas pedal of the Xbox controller with the joystick that moves the car left and right. And so this is done so that using one hand, he can do both at the same time. So both accelerate the car and also steer it. So this is the 3D printed version of it. As can be seen in red, there is a handle that's been brought up that rests on the acceleration trigger. So if it is pushed back, then it pushes down on the trigger and speeds up the car. But that handle can also be turned left and right. So if that is done, it moves the joystick around using the linkers that can be seen in yellow. There is also a similar mechanism on the brake that can be seen on the left side. So here you can see a video of Levi using the controller add-on, and using it he was able to get a third place victory, which is a first for him. And as you can see, he's turning the car left and right using the handle. So that previous video was taken the second time I met Levi, and so it was a pretty big success, but it also needed a bit more polish. And that includes a bit better like cable routing, and it would also have been nice to make the controller easily removable from the mount, because as mentioned before, it was hard to charge. So after testing the previous version, I created the third version, which makes it easier to use by kind of making the controller add-on snap into place with some 3D printed clips. As mentioned before, this is really useful for charging. Again, the project did not break and Levi was able to use it, and the previously mentioned polish was added, but a new problem arose, namely that when the main gas handle was turned to the left, the car didn't really turn completely, and so it was way easier to make the car turn right rather than left, and this was a relatively big problem. So the plan with this project is to fix the before mentioned bug, and what's causing it is that two 3D printed parts are colliding, making it not possible to turn the joystick or to make the handle completely to the left. Luckily, this is a relatively simple fix because it just involves kind of removing some material from the two 3D printed parts which are colliding. After that, obviously the next plan is to test it again with Levi and to improve anything else that needs improving. So this project has one main risk that's still standing, and it's that Levi at some point might get bored of Forza. Though a nice fix to this is that since the project is 3D printed, the 3D model can be altered to make it fit another game which he wants to play at that time. A risk that was fixed was that the controller could have broken, as in the add-on could have broken, but that was just solved by making the 3D prints much more robust and harder to break. Thank you so much for taking the time to review our project. Your feedback will help a lot. Thank you very much and have a very nice day.